What's up, guys? It's your boy King David. I'm back at it with another video. In this video, I'm gonna get right into a couple conversations, not conversation, but just topics here, guys. So the first one is gonna be about family, right? And don't take anything to heart, guys. Don't even think about really too deep, right? Take it with a grain of salt. Make sure you don't feel any type of way. But this is what I've noticed, right, guys? And this is mostly pertaining towards your excuse me, I can't talk right now, right, guys? Oh my God, I'm stuttering. This is mostly pertaining to your journeys, guys, like your controlling your sexual discipline journeys and understanding that when you get to a certain level in certain things, it becomes you become a little bit different from other people, and especially your family, right? Now, if your family is more open-minded to certain ideas and they can accept that you're just going down a different path, like no matter what you do in life, guys, your family's going to see you a certain type of way, right? Now, if you're already like a free-going or free spirit kind of person, just really like chill, relaxed, they can kind of like understand that you would do some of these things, but other things, they're not going to understand it so much, and they might even be kind of pushed away from you, right? My family has always let me integrate with them and my weird, quirky things that I do, but I don't do nothing too strange, guys. Like, I'm not doing nothing that is going to like just be weird in general. So here's the thing, guys, with retention, with conserving your life force energy, guys, you're going to notice that the more you retain, the longer streaks that you go on, the more you get more dedicated to it, and the more you let it go and just let things happen naturally how it's supposed to, you are going to change. Like, you're changing yourself all around, right? It's a self-improvement thing. It's something that you need to do if you're a man and you really want to like go the extra mile, right? Like, you can do all the other things like fasting, you can do clean eating, you can do a lot of exercise, you can do maybe even reading a book, right, guys? Like, you can start reading books. You can just try to improve like your life in general, just things that are going to help you, quitting the alcohol, obviously, stop smoking. Now, if you do those things just a little bit, that's already better than the average person. That's okay. Like, you don't need to be drinking all the time. You don't need to be smoking all the time. You don't need to exercise all the time, guys. Like, what I'm trying to say is whenever you're doing a self-improvement, just a little bit is really all you need to do, and realizing that not everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon or even be interested in what you're doing. So don't worry so much what they're doing. Just focus on yourself and focus on improving what you can in your life, guys. So your family, right? Let's get down to it. Whenever you start something different or new, that they're going to just kind of feel indifferent about it. Maybe they feel that you're trying to be better than them. Maybe they're feeling like they just, they just don't understand what you're going through, or, they don't really try to, not every family is like this. Some families are really like connected. Other families are not so much. Some are in the middle, right? Some people's families will just straight up talk to you like, oh, why do you do this? And what do you gain from it? And how can I become more like you? Or maybe I'm going to plan on doing that, or maybe I won't do that, right? But I'm just generally interested in what you're doing, right? It doesn't matter if they are or aren't, right? As long as they're not hating on it, hating on you doing the thing that you want to do, then you're good, right? Don't ever let somebody block your gifts, right? Don't ever let somebody block what you're meant to have in your life, right, guys? Like, if you're meant to have something good or nice, enjoy it, because that's what you're supposed to do, right, guys? If somebody's trying to block you from getting like your goals, your success, right, in life, that's probably because you're doing something that they think they can't, or maybe they can't do it because they just don't have the right mindset for it, right, guys? Now, there's all sorts of different factors, and we won't need to get into deep on things like that, guys, but let's go ahead and break it down for you. So when you're retaining, guys, especially with the men in your family, right? Some men are going to understand it differently than others, right? You start to retain, you're building up a lot of testosterone. You're around other men, they're going to feel that energy. They're going to know you're automatically different from other men, right? Now, if you're already like doing all the self-improvement things, right? You're fasting, you're working out, you're not drinking, you're not smoking. Your energy is really potent, like I've said, guys. Like you're almost intimidating, you know, and to some degree to some of your family members, but they're going to look at you like how you were, right? So they're going to try to downplay your success, downplay the work and the time that you've put in to become who you are, right? Reality is, if you just don't care and you're just like, whatever, and you move on from that situation or just take yourself out of the situation, then you become just this person who's just deflecting bullets. You're Superman, guys. Like, that's a part of the journey in itself. It kind of sucks that it's like that. You know what I mean? They will actually pinpoint things or flaws that you know, because it hits you harder, right? The people who are closest to you can hurt you the most, right? Sometimes it's like that. So the best thing to do is to not judge a book, or not judge a book by its cover, but do not judge others for their misunderstanding, right? That's just what it is. They don't understand it yet. They're not used to the energy yet. And when they start to get used to the energy, they still might want you to be who you were, because you really kind of like gapped them in like energy levels, right? Like your energy's way up here, their energy's still at this section. Now they could get up to your level, but sometimes they don't want to like let go of some of the things, or maybe they don't want to get to that level. Maybe they're not ready for that level yet, guys. Like, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with these things, right? I try to always bring it back to ground level, to base level, guys. It's like, we're not superior than really anybody else. We're all just a little bit different. You know what I mean? And if you're an old soul, new soul, unless you're literally like the next Jesus or something, right, guys? Which is possible, guys. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and deny that there might be another, if Jesus did come back to earth, right? Like, a lot of people wouldn't understand him, and they would still do the same thing that they did to him in the past, right, guys? So you have to understand, that's what I'm trying to get at, right? It's not just the family, it's also people that you don't know, and you have to be careful. But that's okay, you know what I mean? That's okay, because like, when you know that every interaction that you're going to have with somebody, everything that's going to happen, everything that you might or might not do, it's all God ordained, right? It's everything is supposed to happen the way it's supposed to. And once you start to accept what happens, even though it might not be the best situation you're in, you start to realize that, you're not technically superior. And yes, there are people who are better than others at certain things. They come to earth with gifts, right? There's some, kids who can play the piano like better than, I don't know if Beethoven played the piano, but I think so, right? There's some kids who can do that. There's some kids that just are born on this planet already equipped with those gifts. Like, God gave them a gift, and they're just like super good. They're just naturally talented. We call it a natural talent, right? Now there's other kids who are not that good, right? No matter how much lessons you put them through, no matter what you try to teach them relating to that, that's just not their strength. That's not their thing that they can do. So maybe they can't really do much. Maybe they really don't do much of anything, but that's okay. You know what I mean? There's always a purpose for every kid. There's always a purpose for every human. That's why we try to not judge. And if you guys judge somebody else, it's just because you're looking at them and realizing that they have a different consciousness level as you, or not than you, right? Like, I feel like if somebody was a genius, right? If there was a genius and he looked at me, he'd be like, this guy's not that intelligent, But in reality, he would notice certain things. Like, if you watch me long enough, he'd be like, well, he does make some decisions that were intelligent, right, guys? And then a genius, for me, I might not understand what he's doing, Not because I'm not that intelligent. It's just because what his consciousness level is at a different level. Usually when you get to somebody who's very intelligent, right, very like logical thinking, which a lot of people who are super intelligent, they think very logically. If this does this, this does that. Like Elon Musk, right? I don't ever bring him up on my channel, but this is the first time. Elon Musk is a very logical thinker, right? A plus B equals C, right? He's kind of like that kind of guy, right? If I sell this much, I get this much. But is he a spiritual person? I don't really know him personally, right? But unlikely, right? A lot of people who are very logical thinkers, they don't really side with the spiritual. Like they're more scientific than spiritual, right? And the reason why that is just because if they can't, like I said in my last video, if they can't see it, feel it, or touch it, then they don't believe it's real, you know? Now, if they can't prove it, they don't believe it's real, you know? That's kind of the idea. But as we like age and we get a little bit older, we start to realize there's a lot of scientific, there's a lot of things that are spiritual that we may never be able to understand until you get to the higher consciousness levels, right, guys? The things that you understand spiritually are far more important than what we'll understand scientifically. It's kind of strange how like people put all this effort into science, which is cool. I think science is great, but science is not always accurate and it doesn't always prove the answer. It's like, it's something that's kind of like theories a lot of the time, right, guys? Spiritual is pretty like similar on all fields. Like if someone says like, I saw a ghost or I saw this paranormal activity thing, and another person seen similar things or had a similar effect or a similar feeling when they're in a certain place, that's pretty like even. Like it doesn't really change. Like there'll be maybe obviously when they explain it, it's a little different, but very similar, right? There's not really like too much of like a difference, right? I seen a ghost. Okay, I seen a ghost too. You know what I mean? Oh, well, the ghost looked like this. I seen that exact same. You get what I'm saying, guys? Like, compared to like science is like, it's more based like theory based and stuff, guys. And until we really kind of like think that we know what it is, and then we just go off of that and we believe everybody believes it, and that's what it is, right? That's kind of like the realities between the two, right? So spiritual, if you're a very logical thinker, like how I was when I was growing up, guys, I didn't believe in God. I'll be honest. I've said it before on my channel. I didn't believe in God. I believed in aliens for most of my life, guys. I didn't believe in, anything related to God. I wasn't against God or anything like that. I just didn't know about God, right? I didn't know like who he was, or I didn't know that he's really not a person. He's a universal force, right, guys? And when I go to that extent, a lot of people don't understand it. When you start talking about certain things, you lose people's attention, right? I could just say attention. Like you lose like their connection with how far they will go or how deep they will go into understanding certain spiritual things. Not all spiritual things are all the way correct, right? But majority of the time, it's pretty like accurate, And when we think about some of the supernatural things that go on, it really is truth to those stories. Even I think the only thing that really is not truth is like the mythical beings, right? The mythical things like stuff from like Narnia or something. Like that's just bogus. That's just made up stories, right? It might be real on some other planet or something, but I don't think that was ever real. Like a Gryffindor, I don't think would be real on this planet, right, guys? those kind of things are, I mean, but if we do look into the past, guys, we did have dinosaurs and stuff. It's not too far-fetched, right? It does stem from something. Everything kind of stems from some form of knowledge that we already have. I would say a Gryffindor would honestly be like a dinosaur if we still believe that dinosaurs had feathers, right? That would technically be a Gryffindor. There could have been a dinosaur that we didn't discover that was, you know, winged and also walked on land, right, guys? Like, there's things that we just don't know, and science can't prove them. And spirituality, there's just so many different levels to it, and understanding it in so many different aspects is really hard, you know, because to navigate the waters, you have to go to the astral realm, and the astral realm is deep, it's vast. I wouldn't say dangerous. It can be, like, if you don't have a guide, I think, and if you're trying to force it. But a lot of times you're good, guys. Like, don't worry so much about things, and just let things happen how they're supposed to, guys. Like, when you're ready to be going in deep into the astral realm, like, you'll probably have somebody there by you to, like, bring you out. You know, I kind of think of it as like the Avatar, you know, when Aang, he goes in, he's unlocking all his chakras, right? And he's going into the astral realm, and they're trying to heal the chakra in his spine because he got hit in the spine, right, guys? That's kind of like the astral realm, right? It's through meditation, and he was fasting, you know, and that's how he was able to get into that realm. But he only was able to because it's very crazy. Like, he was he was only able to get into that realm because he was ready. But it's very similar if you really think about it. This is kind of deep, right, guys? I just thought of this. It's really kind of like Star Wars when Luke Skywalker is training with Yoda. Very similar, right, guys? He's meditating, he's levitating rocks, you know. Aang's doing the same thing. He's training in the astral realm. He's meditating, guys. Like, you know, he's using different he's trying to unlock different elements. Similar things, right? Similar, if you really were to look at it in like a way like that. There's a lot of gems and stuff in different shows that we watch as kids, and as we get older, we start to realize these things. We look at it in a different light. I remember when I first kind of awokened a little bit, and I don't really like to call it awoken because that makes it seem like everybody else is asleep. There's a lot of people who are not very awake, right, guys? Like, they don't have any common sense. They smoke too much, they drink too much, they do too much. Their mind's too clouded for them to understand what God's really telling them, right? But what I'm trying to say here, guys, is I kind of forgot it, but what what I'm trying to say here, guys, is the truth of it all is that getting to that next level, or what I was going to say, sorry, guys, being awake is not really like, it's not as cracked up as it is to be, but it is nice when you watch movies. I would say when you watch a movie or something, guys, you definitely see things that you never saw before, and just understanding movies to a deeper extent. Before, you might have had to rewatch like a movie a couple times before you figured out really what was going on in the movie, right? I remember, this is a crazy story, guys. I remember my ex, we were watching a movie, and then I rewatched the same movie like months later, and she was like, "Why would you rewatch the same thing?" Like, she always wants to watch something new, and I'm like, why not watch the same thing, right? Because it wasn't like an argument or nothing, but she was just curious. I was like, because as you get older, you know what I mean, and you rewatch something that you watched maybe months ago, maybe years ago, you have a different perspective on the same thing that you had watched. And watching something new all the time, I mean, that's good too, because you're learning something different. But to go back and rewatch something that you've already seen, you have a totally different insight on it because your mind's more mature usually, and you could just see different things that you didn't notice, you know, certain word plays that like the actors did. There's a deeper meaning to them. You know, that's like a blessing right there. You know, you're rewatching something and you're relearning something, right? Like I rewatched the Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one, guys. I was like, wow, this movie's actually pretty good. It's kind of corny too. I mean, like when you're a kid and you're watching it, you're like, these are some crazy pirates, you know. But when you're rewatching it and you're older, you're like, this is kind of funny, to be honest. This is like a funny movie. I was cracking up, like it's hilarious, you know. You think it's like these horrible pirates and they're evil and stuff. They're actually not such bad guys. They're really not. They're kind of goofy in that movie. If you could rewatch the first Pirates of the Caribbean, you would think it's kind of funny. There's some parts where you're just like, this is hilarious. Anyways, guys, peace out. Enjoy yourselves. Like and subscribe. Comment. I know I'm like stuttering all the time on my videos recently, just trying to get through them and give you guys some good content to watch, guys. Peace out. Have a blessed day.